I laid there blindfolded, breathless. My body still tingling from my husband's touch. The room was quiet, warmth still wrapping around me, my mind lost in the moment. But then I felt it. The air shifted. A subtle change, something different. A soft step, a movement nearby. A slow realization crept over me. We weren't alone. Before we dive in, please take a quick second to like this video and hit subscribe. It's fast and easy, it helps the channel more than you know, and ensures you don't miss out on the next videos. Thanks for being here, let's begin. His hands were on me before I could think. Firm, possessive. Different, I gasped as he pressed me against the counter. His breath hot against my neck. His grip tightened at my waist. Fingers tracing slow, deliberate circles down my spine. My body responded before my mind caught up, arching into him, craving more. This wasn't like him, not lately. For years, our touch had become routine. Predictable, but tonight, something was different. There was urgency in the way he kissed me, his mouth claiming mine, his body crowding me like he couldn't get close enough. I barely managed a breath. This how you plan to start our anniversary? His lips curled into a smirk. It's just the beginning. Heat coiled low in my stomach. The dim candlelight, the slow jazz, the unopened bottle of wine. Everything I had thought was romance now felt like something else. A setup I swallowed as he reached behind me, pulling something from the drawer. The soft whisper of silk against his fingers sent a shiver down my spine. A blindfold, my pulse hammered. "Trust me," he murmured, brushing my jaw with his knuckles. I hesitated and his grip tightened just enough. "Do you trust me?" I exhaled, heat flooding my skin, then finally. I nodded. His smirk deepened. The silk slid over my eyes and the world went dark. His fingers laced through mine. Guiding me forward, I followed without hesitation. My breath shallow, my skin humming with anticipation. Every step felt heavier. The floor cool beneath my bare feet as he LED'd me toward the bedroom. The bed dipped as I reached it, and his hands found my waist again. "Studying me, are you sure?" he asked, voice low. Teasing but patient, I swallowed. My pulse hammering, yes. The rustle of fabric filled the space between us, as he slowly slid my dress from my shoulders, his fingertips gliding over my bare skin. Every movement was deliberate, unhurried, giving me time to stop him if I wanted to. But I didn't, I wanted more. The silk of the blindfold heightened everything. The way his hands skimmed my hips, the way his breath warmed my collarbone before his lips followed. My fingers curled in the sheets as he guided me onto the bed, my heart racing as I felt the first slip of fabric around my wrist. He paused. "Tell me if you want me to stop." I exhaled a slow, shuddering breath before shaking my head. The soft press of restraints tightened. Not too much, just enough. Just enough to feel his presence, his control my choice. The bed dipped and then warmth. His lips, his tongue tracing paths down my body, coaxing shivers from my skin. Every flick, every slow circle sent a new wave of heat surging through me. My breath hitched, my back arched. But he took his time building me up, keeping me on the edge. He knew exactly what he was doing. The pressure shifted, his hands tracing up my thighs before settling at my hips. A teasing pause long enough to make me desperate. Then finally he filled me, slow and deep, his rhythm steady, deliberate. A moan slipped from my lips, my body moving with his, the tension coiling tighter with every thrust. He stayed close, whispering to me, drawing me further under, pushing me to the peak he'd been leading me toward all along. And when it finally hit, it unraveled me completely. I was still trembling, my body warm and weightless. The aftershocks rolling through me in slow, delicious waves, my wrists flexed slightly against the restraints. But I didn't want to move, I didn't want to break the moment. I was floating breathless. My heartbeat still unsteady from everything he had just done to me. But then I felt the shift in the air. The space beside me was empty. I frowned, my lips parting, expecting his touch again, but it didn't come instead. I heard the soft creak of floorboards, the subtle rustling of fabric. He was moving away, my stomach dipped. Honey. My voice was still thick, hazy. He didn't answer right away. A pause, a hesitation. Then the bed dipped slightly as he leaned closer. His fingers brushed my jaw, his lips just a breath away from mine. I told you I had a surprise for you. My breath caught. I barely had time to process before I heard it. The door unlocking the hinges groaned softly as it swung open. A chill ran down my spine. Someone else was here. She looks even better than I imagined. Heat surged through me, my chest tightening, my breath coming in shallow. Uneven gasps. I was still blindfolded, still tied, still breathless, and now we weren't alone. My breath came in short, uneven gasps, my senses sharper than ever in the darkness. I could hear him, both of them. The warmth of my husband's touch still lingered on my skin, grounding me, even as the presence of someone new sent a rush of heat through me. Was I nervous? Yes. But beneath that there was something else. Curiosity won anticipation. I swallowed hard as their voices drifted around me, low and teasing, filling the space between my own ragged breaths. She's shaking, the stranger murmured, his tone edged with amusement. I felt my husband move closer, his fingers brushing my thigh, reassuring she's just taking it all in. His touch was a tether, an anchor, a reminder that he was here, that this was safe, that this was my choice. She's beautiful like this. The other man added, his voice closer now. A shiver rolled through me, then a touch not my husband's. A new set of fingers glided over my arm, slow, deliberate. I stiffened, my heart slamming against my ribs. My husband's hand was on me in an instant, his thumb tracing soothing circles against my hip. If this is too much, just say so, he murmured. I exhaled slowly and then I relaxed. The tension stretched between us, the air thick with anticipation. No one moved. It was as if they were waiting for me, for my signal, for my permission. A breath ghosted against my ear, deep and measured, then a whisper. Only if you want this. My lips parted. My pulse raced, and then I made my choice. The first touch of his lips was tentative testing, lingering before pressing more firmly against mine. I inhaled sharply, my body tensing for just a moment before melting into it. My senses already drowning in sensation. The heat of his mouth, the rough contrast to my husband's familiar touch, sent a shudder racing through me. My husband's hand squeezed mine, grounding me, his lips trailing over my shoulder, whispering against my skin, "You're perfect like this." Then a new sensation. A presence at my lips, firm and expectant. My pulse pounded. I hesitated for only a second before parting my lips, welcoming him, feeling the weight of the moment settled between us. His low groan sent a rush of warmth through me, and my husband's mouth found my throat, his teeth grazing just enough to make my breath hitch. The contrast between them, between the unfamiliar and the known, was intoxicating. I was lost in it. By the time he leaned back, my pulse was racing, my breath uneven. Then his hands guided me lower. His presence, commanding his hands, settled on my hips, steadying me as the warmth of him pressed closer. My lips parted in a silent gasp. He was consuming. My husband's hand tangled in my hair, his voice a low rasp in my ear. "Breathe," he reminded me, kissing the shell of my ear. Trailing lower slowly. Steadily, the stranger moved, his touch deliberate, his rhythm patient. But knowing it built heat unfurling in my stomach, tightening, coiling. His grip tightened as the pace quickened, my husband's lips moving in time with his teasing, coaxing. I was unraveling, and just when I thought I couldn't take any more, they shifted me. The silk loosened from my wrists, but the blindfold remained, keeping me wrapped in the darkness. In sensation, strong hands lifted me, studying me as they guided me forward. Adjusting me with care, I braced against him, my breath unsteady, as my hands pressed against the firm planes of his chest. The sensation of his body beneath mine was different. New and untested, but the warmth of my husband's touch remained. Grounding me, I moved cautiously at first, easing into the motion, letting my body find its rhythm. A slow build of movement sent a ripple of awareness through me, heightening every touch, every whisper between us. A low hum of approval rumbled from the stranger beneath me, his hands offering silent encouragement. My husband's fingers traced along my skin. Featherlight teasing his mouth brushed my collarbone, whispering things only I could hear. Things that sent shivers racing down my spine. The moment stretched, time bending around me, the intensity growing with each passing second. I could hear their voices, feel their focus, their presence keeping me balanced. Between them, I had never felt more alive. Just as I felt myself slipping over the edge, they moved me again. Familiar hands guided me backward, supporting me as I adjusted, settling into the warmth of my husband's embrace. His presence wrapped around me, a tether pulling me close, his hands exploring with unhurried reverence. His touch was patient, savoring the moment, drawing it out like a lingering note in a song. I leaned into him, letting him lead our movements. Sinking effortlessly, his breath fanned against my neck, his whispered praises sending waves of anticipation through me. I could feel the depth of his desire in the way he held me, the way his fingers traced slow, deliberate patterns over my skin. Everything was in perfect harmony until I felt another presence behind me. A familiar set of hands settled at my waist. Gentle yet sure, a shiver ran through me, anticipation curling through my stomach. As I felt the steady pressure of him aligning with me, my husband whispered against my ear, his voice steady, reassuring, his hands still caressing, teasing. A slow inhale, a pause, and then a new sensation. My breath hitched as the feeling took hold, the intensity washing over me in waves. It was unfamiliar but thrilling. New but deeply consuming, they worked together, keeping me balanced between them, their touch a steady rhythm, guiding me through the moment. I clung to my husband's shoulders, my body pressed between them, surrendering to the sensation of being completely surrounded. Completely wanted. Their hands never left me, teasing, guiding, pulling me further and further into the warmth of the moment, keeping me tethered to the pleasure that built with every breath. Everything blurred, time distorting into a single overwhelming sensation. The moment stretched, rising, holding me there at the very peak until I could no longer hold on. And then it all unraveled, cascading through me in waves. A rush of sensation, a flood of warmth, a feeling so all-encompassing I could barely breathe through it. I clung to them, lost in the aftermath, in the heat of their bodies against mine, in the soft, whispered praises against my skin. For a long moment, none of us moved. Just breathed, just warmth, just satisfaction I still couldn't see. But I had never felt more aware of everything. I laid there breathless, the weight of what just happened settling over me. He gave me the ultimate gift, but was it really for me or was it for him? Would you ever do something this bold for your partner? Or does the thought alone cross the line? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to see where you stand. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, so you never miss another one like this. Your support helps keep these stories coming. See you on the next one.